There's a thin line between ambition and delusion. It's crucial to understand and to choose wisely in order to not keep yourself stuck. Because the one leads you to live a life filled with purpose, while the other one leads you to live a life wondering, what the fuck have I been doing? And this is a common trap most people fall into, because they just don't know what the difference is between the one and the other. And honestly, I myself have been through that. So in this video, I will discuss how you can recognize what delusion is and what ambition is, and how you can use it to your advantage. So let's start with the devil. Basically, delusion. Because what is being delusional? It means to have a desire to achieve something, and being able to allow yourself to slip up and do the habits that don't contribute towards your growth and being aware of them. Basically, another way of coping. An example of that is you are somebody who is working full-time. You know you want to build up your own business. So instead of working on your business, you play video games. And the excuse you tell yourself is, I deserve it. I'm going to be successful anyways. It's going to be fine. While ambition is the opposite of that. It's having a strong desire to achieve something, knowing what the price will be that you'll have to pay, taking action, being insecure, being afraid, and still persevering, being willing to do everything that is necessary for you to get where you want to go. And the thing about ambition is that it comes with so much negative emotion in the moment, while delusion gives you pleasant emotions in the moment, because you can comfort yourself and tell yourself that everything is going to be fine anyways. In comparison to that, ambition will have you questioning yourself every day. Every moment of the day, you'll be wondering, am I doing the right thing? I don't know if I should be doing this. This decision looks risky, but it is necessary for me to succeed. I guess I'll have to do it, and you eventually do it. Delusion equals instant gratification, while ambition equals delayed gratification. Now, I myself have been a very delusional person for most of my life. I used to do so many bad habits. I remember this story when I was coming from a party. I was talking to this random girl that I met on the bus, and I was telling her like, yeah, I'm going to be the successful artist, the greatest artist that there ever going to be in Belgium, this and that. And she was like, oh yeah, right, of course you will, of course you will. And I was so confident about myself. But what was I doing? I was getting drunk. I was being high. I was going to parties. I was not doing the tasks that I needed to do. When I needed to work on music, I wasn't. I was pushing it away and going to parties. Instead of spending my free time that I had on working on music and developing the skills that were necessary for me to become the artist that I desired to be, that I said that I was going to be. And whenever it got hard, I would push it to the side and meet up with friends. And even when it didn't get hard, I just simply met up with friends and used my free time as that. And always told myself, yeah, I'm going to be that artist. And whenever I made a little short bit of music, I was like, yeah, I'm that guy, you know? I produced the beat and I was like, yeah, this is going to be the beat that is going to blow up my entire career. I'm going to be the greatest that there is out there. And I eventually didn't release anything for a long period of my life when I was working on that goal. I didn't. Why? Because I was delusional. I was coping. I was not accepting the difficulties because I knew that it was going to be difficult and I couldn't accept it. I was running away from the truth, and that has held me back from actually using my skills to my advantage. And then eventually, years later, I realized when I started to eventually take action on working on music, that music isn't going to be the thing that I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And when that moment arose, I had a choice to make. Either I was going to remain delusional and convince myself that this is the way that I should go, that I need to make music, that this is the only thing that I can do, which were thoughts that genuinely popped up into my mind and things that I've genuinely journaled about. Or I could walk into the distance, into the unknown, into the mist to figure out what it then is that I need to do, what it then is that I will do. Now that's my ambition talking. The path of not knowing what life will be like, where I'm going to end up. It brought me here to recording YouTube videos, to providing this message for you. And it came with so many insecurities and still comes with so many challenges and insecurities, things that I doubt myself with. But I still have to show up and persevere because this is exactly the thing that is required of me to do. To actually go through the resistance, go through the discomfort, to actually do the thing that is necessary for me to develop. There was a time in my life when I was smoking a lot of weed. That was in a period when I was in a relationship with a girl for 2.5 years that I didn't want to be with. I used to cope and tell myself that I'm smoking weed in order to be able to sleep. which it wasn't. And I was convincing myself that I loved that girl when I didn't. Me not accepting the truth that I didn't love that girl, which I knew damn well that I didn't want to be with her. That led me to create habits that fueled that delusional life that I was living. And it took me years to actually accept it, to not run away from that truth anymore, because it was comfortable. It was comfortable for me to see that as my reality, to see that as a truth, to see that as, okay, this is my life. But it kept me stuck. It kept me small. It kept me living below my standards. When I had a realization of what I was doing wrong with my life and with myself, it was during one of the darkest periods of my life when I was high in my garden, already in a relationship with her for 2.5 years, not having spoken to her for over a month basically. When she was calling me, I would just simply not pick up because I knew that I didn't want to be with her, but I was running away from having an uncomfortable conversation with her. I zoomed out of my body and realized, like, damn, okay, this is what I have to do. And again, in that moment, I could cope, or I could listen and do that what is necessary for me to grow. And life is an accumulation of all of these experiences. There's this moment that will appear, this clutch moment where you will have to be making a very important decision. And you can either make the decision to cope, to be delusional, to convince yourself that something is real when it isn't, or to listen to that little voice that is in the back of your mind that is screaming at you basically to not do it. And it's not fear, it's not resistance. That is the real, authentic you that is screaming at you. That is telling you to, hey, please make this decision because it will help you. It will be uncomfortable, yes. It will be difficult, yes. And that's why it is so quiet, because your delusion, the comfort, the real resistance is pushing it away. It's keeping it small. It's bullying it. So resistance will do everything it can with its power to not have you listen to it and to keep you stuck and not grow. But have you noticed that every time you listen to that little voice that told you to do it, and you don't know where it comes from, but it feels so right, despite knowing that the consequences of everything that will come, that all the difficulties that will appear in your life from making that decision, that it will be worth it. You have to listen to that voice. A lot of people fail to do that, and they waste their lives doing things they don't want to do, to then lay in their deathbeds, recognizing in that moment, like, fuck, I listened to the wrong voice, to the wrong advice that my mind was telling me and convincing me to be right. It is honestly one of the most scariest things that you can do. Growth lies behind a very thin wall of discomfort. It's easy to be delusional, very easy. And usually the thing that looks easy most of the time is what will keep you delusional, that will lead you to cope. Your comfort zone is you being delusional. You don't grow when you are in your comfort zone. You have to be pushed beyond your limits ever so slightly so that your comfort zone then grows. That requires courage. Now, what is courage? Courage is acting when you are afraid, recognizing that you are afraid and still doing it, not using it as an excuse, not letting it be the reason for you to not do the thing that you have to do. The more you listen to your delusion, the more you delay your growth. That will become a habit, which will reflect into every area of your life, into every little aspect that you do, because you will always try to look for the comfortable thing in your life, and you will hold yourself to that. And so your life will progress, your life will develop, and nothing worthwhile will happen. And then you realize, I'm just living like everybody else, and that's it. I'm just like everybody else. Wait, I had so many goals that I wanted to achieve. I had so many things that I wanted to change. But yet I'm in the same box as everybody else, doing the exact same thing. Where did it go wrong? Because you chose comfort. You chose delusion. You chose to cope and to not change yourself. When you know that you have work to do the work. Work on yourself. Trade in your bad habits. And this doesn't mean that it has to be video games. That doesn't mean that it has to be something degenerate. It can be the small things. It can be the way that you handle with resistance. It can be the way that you snooze in the morning when your alarm goes off. It can be whenever a difficulty in your life arises that you look for an excuse to why the difficulty came, aka not taking responsibility that it is you who decides where you will lead the situation to. Bad habits can be many things. It can be you adding that little bit of sugar in your tea when you know damn well that you can just simply not add that sugar in your tea and just drink it black. That you just have to get used to it because you know that sugar isn't good for you, but you're too afraid to give it up because you like it. It's comfortable. So be very vigilant of the decision that you make. Whether you are coping or you are being brutally honest with yourself. Know that the difference is, know that you can recognize it by whether or not the one makes you happy and whether or not the one makes you a bit more stressed. The one that provides you a bit more stress and a bit more challenge usually is ambition, is wanting to change something, acknowledging that it is going to be difficult. And the other one is the easy way out. I hope this video has been of value for you. I want to wish you a very nice day. And remember that you are 100% responsible for the results in your life. Make the hard decision today, and I'll see you in the next one. All right? Bye-bye.